Welcome everyone. Today is October 2nd, and this is our monthly Kubernetes Steering Committee meeting. Welcome everyone. We have amazing group with our folks today with us. The current steering members. We have the candidates, the wonderful candidates that were running for the new term for the steering, and most importantly, we have Bridget representing the election officers. So I don't think we have any public announcements from this point of view. I'll leave the usual caps, freezes, and all that to all the six because probably we've already heard about all that a couple of times. I won't repeat myself. So I'll just pass over to Bridget and take it away.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So we have our results and I will read them off and put them in the chat, and then we will also be publishing a blog post, etc. And I'll put them in the meeting doc as well, now that they are public. The results, and I will read them off. Congratulations to the elected committee members whose 2-year term begins immediately. Listed in alphabetical order by GitHub handle. Antonio Ojea, Aoija, Google, Benjamin Alder, Ben the Alder, Google, and Sasha Gruner at Sasha Gruner, Red Hat. They join continuing members Stephen Augustus, Just Augustus, Cisco, Paco Zhu, DowCloud, Patrick Oli, Pioli, Intel, and Meshik. I don't even know how to say it. I'm so sorry. Can you say it
No
for
worries.
me?
Machi. It's Machi.
Machi, Zulek, Salty SH, Defense Unicorns. And Benjamin Alder is a returning steering committee member. And thank you to Emeritus steering committee members, Bob Killen and Nebrun Powell. And thank you for all candidates who came forward to run for election.
I would just like to say I'm officially passing off the Kubernetes steering Zoom handle to Mache. He can now be Kubernetes steering.
I like that. Is he going to join all his meetings and we'll say hi Kubernetes steering?
I hope not. I'm usually trying to juggle between the correct accounts, but we'll see.
We would, and I did. It's not in the results statement. It'll just be in the regular email that will go out. That was already in draft that anyone could read at the time. But we will have a retro. It will be 1 week from exactly this moment, and I will get the invite out probably later today. And that's all I have.
Cool.
Yes.
Can I have one single question with regards to the general elections? Do we know the voting, how many folks actually voted, the percentage?
Yes. Do we want that in the, because I went and I looked at the public blog post from last time, and that number did go out in the private steering comms, but I didn't see that number in the public blog post. But I know that we do upload a voter file to GitHub later. So I'm not sure if that's the sort of thing that we do put in the record or not. I'm guessing it's okay to put it in, but I noticed it wasn't in the public blog post.
Yeah, it normally just goes into the GitHub repo.
But it's not secret, right?
It's not secret.
It's definitely not secret.
All right. There were 233 votes. So.
How many do we have eligible voters?
Or sorry, I'm sorry, voters. There were 233 votes cast, voters who voted. Percentage of, you're saying which percentage of eligible voters voted. Let's look at the GitHub. I'm going to have to pull that information up for you.
Yeah, I'm not sure the percentage of total eligible, but one statistic we did look at is that is an increase from last year of about 10 or so voters. It was like 219 or something last year. So we did exceed last year's voting, but by like the slimmest of margins.
That is actually honestly kind of awesome, just because it's been trending down for years.
Okay, so I went and I grabbed the eligible voter file. And I'm putting it in the chat. And the lines are numbered starting with 23 and going down to 682. So 650-ish, 660-ish, something like that. So better turnout than percentage-wise than the US elections usually. But yes,
That's good.
I agree that we could always
said,
do more for turnout. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. That's if we got more people voting than in the past years. That was probably the biggest one that I was slightly worried about from the conversation that I had in the past weeks. I was a little bit concerned about that point. So seeing the final result, especially the turnaround going up, is a very positive for the entire community.
Yeah, at the risk of going through the entire retro right now, it does come to mind that, and maybe Christoph can talk a little about this, but because he got the ability to put a banner on GitHub, we think that that probably helped because people would see on GitHub that this was something they could do.
Yeah, we saw a very large spike in the last few days. It's tough to attribute a reason to being specifically that banner versus just like the email reminders that we were already sending out in previous years versus people just waiting to the last minute to vote. Because there, as we've seen in previous years, there's a trend where we get a number of upfront votes, and then there's a lull period, and then when we start sending reminders near the end, we get the trend starts back upwards. But it'll be interesting to see like if that announcement is a tool, basically like, hey, you're on GitHub, here's a direct link to the voting platform and the voting information, if that made a substantial difference as far as encouraging people to actually go and submit their vote.
So I just want to make sure, oh, sorry, Natalie.
Yeah, I spoke to quite a few people who didn't realize they could vote because they didn't realize how the voters YAML is actually put together and that they have a DevStat score that allows them to vote. So I think actually more education around how that is compiled and then who can vote could actually be really cool. But I'm happy to come to the retro with that feedback too.
Yeah, and specifically would be really helpful as any suggestions around extra communication channels where we could reach those people. Because I think that is looking at her historical trends around voter participation, and that it's been like, it's still fairly low. It's not like we're getting into the 70 or 80% response rate to the election of eligible voters. And these are people who, if they're eligible, we know they're active in the community and we know they're actively doing stuff on GitHub if they're already in the voters file and not requesting an exception. So it's how do we reach those people if they're not looking at the dev list, they're not looking at Slack, they're not looking at, in this year we had a few days of the GitHub banner, which may have helped, but like, how do we reach those people more effectively? Any suggestions in that area would be exceptionally helpful.
Yeah, as a note, like the many people that I spoke to who didn't realize that their contributions counted were release team shadows and release team members, for example. They don't realize that some of the work that they do is actually a big contribution. So yeah.
So I want to make sure that we take a moment out because we've thanked the candidates, the outgoing steering members. Thank you, election officers, for the incredible work that you do every time we have to sign up. So Bridget, Christoph, Priyanka, thank you for this cycle.
Happy to help.
Thank you all.
I've got the onboarding issues rolling and some PRs going out right now. So the link is in the chat, but I should also put that in the meeting.
Yeah, I should probably point out that there's at least 2 different sources of truth of think it's Kubernetes steering's employer. So if we don't draw from one source of truth, we should probably put both sources of truth into the list of places things need updating.
Sorry, the employer?
Yeah, I just noticed that like it was listed wrong in one place, but not another, which means that
yeah,
we don't
exactly.
update
That's
them exactly.
Yeah, that's I think we should have I don't know if we do already, but talk for updating personal affiliation. Mache, on one of the PRs I have your affiliation updated as well for the steering repo.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And I see Priyanka just joined us.
Hey, Priyanka.
Stephen, do you want to repeat your sentiments?
Yes, absolutely. So we thanked the candidates, we thanked the incoming steering members, the outgoing steering members. I wanted to make sure that we took time to thank the election officers as well for their work. So again, thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Christoph. Thank you, Priyanka, for your work this cycle.
Thanks, Stephen. And hello, everyone. Sorry for joining late.
We know it's a holiday, so thank you for being here.
Yeah, I realized it's just 15 minutes into the meeting and I was around my laptop, so I'm sorry.
Okay, Antonio, we will fix the link in the issue. I already found the correct one.
Thanks. And that, yeah, I'll make sure that gets back into the onboarding doc itself.
Thanks.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions or topics that people want to discuss? Hey, Paris. Paris just joined. We're just asking if anyone has any last minute questions. Okay, if that's the case, the last thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that we have the person that is going to run the next call, the monthly call. Do we have any volunteers? I'm not even looking at the new members. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. So I'm looking just at Ben, Steven.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just double checking my calendar.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I do want to warn everyone the next call is November 6th, and it is a couple of days before people probably get on planes for KubeCon. So make your decisions about meetings appropriately.
Or one suggestion, maybe not for the next meeting, but like probably should do another doodle or whatever to figure out what's the best time for
meeting
everyone.
time.
Took the words out of my mouth, Bob.
Yeah, it is. I believe it's on the onboarding stuff, so we'll step through it with the new members.
I think we have fairly similar times now, but we should absolutely
Still
revisit
check,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're covering roughly similarly across the time zones as we did before. So
Maybe we can discuss at the next meeting.
definitely.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
If there are no other topics, we have a bosun for the next call. And with that, I'm gonna thank you all for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you, everyone.
Later, y'all.